right. Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of yous that are in different time zones. My name is Rain and I am a community member here at Empeer 10, and this is going to be the third session in our series on Web3 and DeFi and crypto. And today we're going to be talking about exploring smart contracts. Um, I hope you all can hear me clearly, and let's get started. So, talking about smart contracts, we have Joe and Travis with us today, whom I'll be introducing in more detail later onwards. The agenda that we have for today is the key terminologies of smart contracts, the common types that are used, the what types of contracts exist, the numbers and the terminologies, ERC, and different numbers. And we're going to be giving you a marketplace demo, how to create one on Third Web. Travis is going to be talking about DAppHub and giving us a demo of DAppHub. Um, so, our first guest speaker and a mentor here at Empeer 10, Joseph, he's going to be talking about Third Web. He's a cloud architect at Accenture. He's the founder of Skylark Nova, an educator and mentor here. Joe is, Joseph loves F1 and basketball. My apologies, my throat has been acting up. Joseph loves basketball and F1, video games and anime. And Joseph, I'll let you take it off.
So let me go ahead. I'll share my screen too so I can also do my demo piece. So let me share my screen.
Perfect.
Everyone, thanks for joining again. This is the third session, right? And I'm glad to be here again and demo talking about, so we're gonna talk about specifically smart contracts. And as Gain mentioned, my name is Joe. I'm the founder of Skylark. Skylark is an on-chain engagement platform. We've been building it along with Aram and Awais, who are also on this call, being part of the team, right? We have launched Skylark for now since May. So that's about what 7 months of being live, right? And we're developing this on-chain engagement platform on base for people to engage their ecosystem with gamified activations. So today we're going to talk about smart contracts, and we're actually going to also get the opportunity to build a marketplace real quick utilizing Third Web, which is the back end engine for smart for different you can build smart contracts on Third Web, but you can also build other things on there as well. But specifically, we're going to talk about how we can utilize Third Web for building marketplaces really quick out of the box. Before we do that, let's review some key terms that we talked about in week one, but we're going to review some of these as well for now. So let's talk about let's talk about uh gas fees, right? So gas fees are on-chain transactions that are paid to create a transaction, to create an action to run a smart contract on the blockchain, right? So this keeps certain transactions at a cost, right? And the goal over time is to lower the gas fees that it takes um, to conduct action on chain, but it's also important to understand that they exist for for creating a pay-to-play model in terms of also incentivizing people. If you're going to do malicious activities on chain, you have to be able to pay all the gas fees to do that. So it's an interesting mechanism to uh, manage smart contracts, but also eliminate bad behavior on chain. An escrow is a smart contract that holds assets. So if you think about it, in terms of regular contracts and two friends that are going to exchange money. If you don't trust your other friend, you may hand it to a third party to hold the money until the terms of the conditions of the contract are met, and then the funds can be passed off. So that's what an escrow is, and you have smart contracts that can act as escrows. So now we're going to talk about different types of ERCs, right? We have ERC20s, which are your fungible token types. We talked about this in the first session. These are the tokens that act are similar to currency, right? And they're identical and interchangeable. So you can always swap one, uh, let's say, for example, Ethereum for another Ethereum token. They're not like the ERC 721s, which on the other hand are non-fungible and are unique in nature, right? And then we also have 1155s, which are also can be unique in nature, but they're also non-fungible. I mean, they're also fungible, meaning that you could think about these like memberships. So you can have multiple gold members, and gold members can swap for gold members, but there's some level of differences when you try to swap at a gold to a silver tier. So that's what makes them unique at different tiers. And 1155s often also are less expensive in terms of creating those type of tokens because they can serve that duplicitous nature of fungible and non-fungible. ERC 2981 is the royalty contract. So you think about the space growing over time, has to be able to serve different types of use cases outside of solely art, and even art has royalties, but also music has royalties, right? So if you're an artist that makes a song and your song gets played on different uh, platforms or gets bought and sold on different platforms, then this royalty standard allows for the original owner or the original creator of that smart contract to continue to get royalty paid on those additional sales. And that's baked into the smart contract as well. So there's even the ability with ERC 4907 to have rentable NFTs where your assets can be loaned out and leveraged at a cost that you desire to set, and that can be rented temporarily. So think about this again, like renting a room out in your house or Airbnb, where you can temporarily monetize the assets that you own, right? If you're lending out your car or if you're lending out any products that you own, you can make those are technically scenarios where in the future you can tokenize the renting portion of those assets into an NFT, more specifically into an ERC 4907. So looking at some more key terms, we have ERC 721A. So this was introduced a lot later than the original 721. Uh, this was more gas efficient, so the ability to create multiple 721s, but in a single transaction, thereby wasting less gas. So doing it more bundled. Uh, ERC 677 introduced the ability to have burnable NFTs. So we talked about in the first session, that NFTs and anything on chain is technically immutable, right? Meaning that it cannot be destroyed off chain. But with burnable NFTs, you're not destroying the NFT, right? You're sending transitioning the owner to a 0x burn address. So this address is much like if you think about your desktop, uh, the recycling bin, but you cannot go in the recycling bin and take things out. So once you actually decide to send it to this location, the 0x burn address, it it stays there. It stays there and no longer is accessible by the common space, but it's still on chain. It's just on chain and designated to be owned by the burn address, right? Uh, Next, we're going to start getting into some marketplace terminologies, right? So we have marketplace, listing, English auction, Dutch auction, and account factory contract. So these are important marketplace terminologies because for marketplace, um, this is what we're going to set up today, right? It's a contract where you can enable the selling and buying of NFTs, and you see this type of activity on OpenSea or Rarible. And a listing is the actual action of putting up an NFT for sale at a price that you want. So if you sell goods online, whether if Facebook Marketplace, similar concept, or eBay, or um, any other website that allows for e-commerce, this is the tokenized version of that to spin up a marketplace and list your tokens for sale. So we're going to actually do that in a couple of minutes here. But if I go down the line of the rest of these terminologies, we have English auction. So English auction versus a Dutch auction, right? English auction is a where participate this is a more common auction, right? This is the auction where you commonly hear people bidding at the highest price, and whoever bids the highest wins. That's what's known as an English auction. That's the more common type of auction. But there's also what's known as a Dutch auction. And Dutch auctions are different, where the price starts at the highest number instead, and they're more time based. So based on a given time cadence, right? If the asset is not purchased by that time, then the price will go down and continues to go down until somebody bids at the price that the Dutch auction is uh gradually decreasing down to. So we have two different auctions where one is more of a decreasing, right? And it's more of a waiting game to see if people want a certain asset at a different price. You can hold out and see if it's going to drop down to a certain price. But in an English auction, it's more of a bidding war in terms of who's going to bid the highest. So you can set up these two types of auction types. We're gonna have English auction uh be an option, and then account factory finally is the a smart contract that can allow you to generate wallets for your end users. Do we have a question? Let me see. Yes, great question. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. ERC 404s. So I'm gonna actually take some time and answer that, even though it's not on the slide, but I'm glad you brought that up. So ERC 404s are NFTs, right? And hybrid NFTs, hybrid NFTs, such as ERC 404s, they have the ability to fractionalize your NFT into tokens. So you can have it be where 100,000 tokens equals the NFT, right? And if you own the NFT in your wallet, you can off ramp through the token marketplace. So that allows for the NFT to always have some level of liquidity by off ramping via the token, right? And then you can also earn the NFT by holding a certain number of the tokens in your wallet. So it's a hybrid NFT, and I've recently grown very fond of this token type because it allows for a lot of different flexible use cases to happen, and it I feel like it's the future of NFTs, where NFTs have to think about having some type of uh token standard their against their non-fungible asset. So I hope that answered the question. So let's move on to actually setting this up. So what we're gonna do for the next 10 minutes or so is we're actually gonna walk through Third Web's library of contracts. And 404 won't be one of them that you'll see there, because the 404 standard is still not an official standard. It's still an experimental stage, but we'll talk about some more of the common ones. And marketplace, we're also going to take some time to configure a marketplace real quick. So let's jump into Third Web. So I'm already logged in to my account here. I'm going to hop over to contracts. So these are different contracts that I've either imported or launched, and you don't need to pay money to get this far. You can set up an account on Third Web and start importing any contracts. I've been using Third Web for about 3 years, and I initially started using it for the examination of smart contracts. So you could just sign up, import a contract, and then read all the code, and even think about interacting with the contract from Third Web itself. So if you were to want to launch a smart contract, you click on deploy contract, and then here's where you can see a list of popular contracts, right? We Ahmed talked about some of these in the first session, right? Like NFT drop, releasing a collection of unique NFTs. These are all 721s for a set price. This is where we're gonna go today. And account factory is what I mentioned earlier about the ability to set up a contract that will deploy smart wallets for your users. This is the ERC 677, where you can deploy a contract that will be burn-in capable to burn and mint tokens. Um, then we start getting to the modular contracts. And an interesting thing about modularity is that you can start off with one contract type and then build on top of that. So these are customizable and upgradable in nature. So you could have a 721 NFT drop, but you would not, if you plan on upgrading it, you would pick the modular drop over the regular drop, right? So these are also cool things that Third Web offers in terms of smart contracts. It allows they're aware that you might want to have modularity and upgradability in your contracts, right? So let's get in. Well, before we go into actually clicking into marketplaces, let's just talk about these last two here, right? Um, Tokens, you could actually launch your own token here. You can deploy ERC20. And the key thing I want to highlight is that it's not hard to create a token. What's the important thing to understand is the value preservation in the token, right? And listing it on exchanges or these decentralized exchanges. That's where all of the hard work comes into play. But if you plan to launch a token for you and your community or you and your friends to trade value around, right? If we were to launch an Empeer token, and 5 Empeer token gets you a 30-minute session with one of the instructors, that's our rules that we set for this ecosystem. And that's totally fine. So you can launch a token that allows you to do that. But we're going to go ahead and jump into building a marketplace. So I'm going to create this marketplace, call it Empeer market, right? EM, was there a question? Let me answer that question afterwards. That's more regarding uh decentralized exchanges. Let me get back to that. Okay, so we're gonna call this EM uh EMARC, EMART, right? That's gonna be a symbol. And let's go grab an image. Uh this just be the image of the marketplace, right? And this now specifies that if anything is sold on the marketplace, I get the fees from that. And we can choose. Third Web has the ability to choose from a number of chains. We're gonna stick to base, right? Because of the lower gas fees. So I'm gonna deploy, and this is how quick it is to build a marketplace using Third Web. In a couple of minutes, I will have the contract to do this. And then all I have to do is start listing items. So while that is going, I'm just gonna go here and get a test iFrame site. This is where I'm just gonna quickly show you guys what it looks like down here. Uh, okay, so let's go back. So the contract is set up, right? The marketplace is ready to be, you have basically a store now, right? In Web3 context, I've just created a store. Empeer market. Now we have to we have to put products in our store. So I mentioned English auctions, right? So you could create an English auction so you can list an NFT that's going to be bidded, like that's going to be biddable, right? And you can set the initial price, or you can just select, or you can build the store with direct listings, which are items that are one price only, buy at that price. So I'm going to go ahead and create a direct listing. So what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead directly to items that are in my wallet that's already connected. And it's going to ask me if I would like to list any of these on in the marketplace. So if you think about this, right? If you yourself have NFTs and you want to develop a marketplace to off-ramp them, this proves that you don't need OpenSea, right? You can build the marketplace for yourself to uh off ramp, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna list this NFT. So this is a base name, right? So this is an NFT that represents uh a a on-chain ID. So I'm gonna list this one here, and I'm going to create this listing for that. And I'm going to be able to sell that NFT to somebody who wants to visit my marketplace and potentially buy it. Oh, I think I've listed that one before. So let me list this one actually. Okay. So now it's listed, right? You can see this token here is in my contracts listing. And if I go and grab, this is another benefit of utilizing Third Web, is that it has the embed code. So I can go ahead and grab this iframe. And if you don't want to build too much from scratch, you have the embed code here that you can embed into a standard website page. And I'm going to do that right here and then showcase in this window here what happens when I do that. So essentially, the metadata isn't loading. That's the only part that doesn't work. right? So this metadata with that NFT, there isn't a art piece, right? So it's a ID, it's an on-chain ID, right? It was the dripnail.ens name, I believe. So this token has when someone buys it, they can purchase that name, but you can list anything, but you could essentially publish this now and have your audience come and buy and sell this token. And now you can even customize it further where if we're going back to the example about utilizing a custom token, you can set this marketplace for this specific asset that it needs to be purchased with Empeer coin, right? So these are just the different things, but in very short amount of time, I was able to spin up a marketplace where I can go back here and I can list uh another NFT and you would see it appear next to this one. So right now there's only one available NFT that's up for listing, but you can list a whole market of items that people can purchase. So with that said, Uh, I'll pause there if there's no any additional question. Oh, let me get back to that last question real quick before handing over. Uh, so the question that was asked was regarding marketplaces, why the sex marketplace are not doing the same volume, more volume than a decentralized like Blur. So I would say personally, my opinion why that happens is because the ecosystem around NFTs are more decentralized than they are centralized, right? I think when centralized exchanges decided that they were going to start listing NFTs, um, it's not necessarily the immediate understanding of those that are centralized users. Centralized users use exchanges more for the tokens rather than the NFTs. So they come on a Coinbase, they come on a Binance, and they want to buy the tokens, they want to buy Bitcoin, and they haven't, in my opinion, they haven't realized the value of some NFT projects, right? So it's a lot more effort for uh centralized exchanges to launch to support different NFT projects, especially when NFTs were birthed on contract versus smart contracts versus the centralized exchanges, which are focused more around the exchange of currencies. So that's my perspective. And maybe Travis, when he starts, maybe he has a perspective on that too. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Gain so he can introduce Travis.
All right. Hope you guys can hear me again. I've been having a little tech issue. Joe, that was amazing. It's crazy to see that now we are actually so empowered that we can even create our own marketplaces in just in the matter of minutes. And you scroll back a couple of years, and this was something that you would have needed a whole team and a whole setup to take care of. But now anyone can do it. Or it's yeah, in essence, amazing to see. So without further ado, I hope you guys can see my screen. Uh, I am going to introduce our next guest speaker, Travis Sherman. He's the founder of DapHub. He loves the impact of crypto use cases on chain, and he brings folks on chain every day. Travis spends most of his time conceptualizing his ideas and building around them. He's intrigued by DePIN, DeSci, and global payment systems. Um, and from what I can read, I hope my knowledge is correct. Travis loves basketball, football, and squash, or is that tennis? Uh, well,
Actually, you're almost right, man. It's actually American lacrosse.
Oh, so that's lacrosse. Oh, okay, okay. So Travis loves playing lacrosse, and he is going to be talking about Dapphub, which is his platform. And what is Dapphub? I'll leave that to him. But a small hint, Dap in essence, in his own words, Dapphub is a browser so intuitive that even your grandma can explore and build on decentralized web. So yeah, Travis, I'm gonna let you take over from here.
Cool. Everyone, again, I'm Travis Sherman, and I can go ahead and dive in a little bit more. Next slide. I'm Travis Sherman, and I am the original founder and the current CEO of Dapphub Browser. And yes, we are the browser so intuitive. Yeah, even your grandma can explore the on-chain web, but also build a part of it. So like so when that I go through these, couple of slides, and when that we go through this demo, I want you guys to kind of, always keep in mind that we want more people to be not only using on-chain products, right, but also we want them to be building their own products as well. And again, our goal is to onboard the next billion users on chain as well. So, slide, please. So we started DapHub last year, 2023. Actually, similar around the time that Skylark was created too. Me and Joe, we built our companies here in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's like in the southern part of the United States. And we went to the incubator together, in cohort 3. That's where Project Pi was also. So all of us are like in the same cohort. So like they're like my bros. And I conceptualized DapHub last year as a place that was needed for everybody to go access the on-chain web really, really easy. It's still kind of fragmented, and it's still very um unintuitive right now of like kind of how to jump on chain and what to use. There's so many different types of wallets, there's so many types of applications out there. Now there's certain dApps like Uniswap that have their own wallet now, and it gets really confusing. So DApHub is built to be that place where you go to us, you download our browser, you make a wallet with your email, and you go to the app store and you go browse. Right? It's very simple, 3 steps. But now we're looking to kind of add a little bit a little bit more. Can you go back to the previous slide 1 second? Um, at the I guess third point here is like we want people who are working, anyone like students, grandparents can also explore and create different types of applications. And that's because Web3 and blockchain is built on open source software, right? Like people need to be collaborating on different types of projects, right? So whether it's Skylark or the Third Web, Project Pi, dApple, it doesn't matter, right? My biggest wish here is like that you guys start building and you guys are building great products. Yeah, so now I can go on to the next slide. Yeah, so here's just our 3 pillars, right? So DApp is still in its alpha stage, so we're not even in our complete stage that's coming in Q1 of 2025. But simple and secure, right? We have a community curated apps to protect against scams and attacks, right? So the common thing that happens in crypto where it's like you go to the wrong site, man, you connect your wallet and it's drained, right? So we are preventing that, and we make partnerships with the best applications out there. um, one of our current partnerships, one of our current partnerships that we announced was with Treble Swap. They're basically the brand new newest V4 DEX out there now, right? So like we're partnering with the best and also like the newest applications out there. We also have a built-in wallet, right? So when people, like my grandma are signing up for dapphub, she doesn't know that wallet is on the back end, like to our email. In the future, people aren't even going to realize that it's a wallet. Just like people don't really realize what email really is. They just know that they have an email and they get messages and they can send messages, right? Wallets are going to be no different, right? You can send messages, you can buy crypto with it, you can hold assets, but most of the stuff is actually going to be abstracted, and that's what like they're trying to do. Again, Onchain made it easy, right? So make sure that it's for everyone. People can start building and start using applications from day one of when they use dapphub. And again, the future of the internet is ours, right? It's not the internet wasn't really meant for just a few people to use and to control. Kind of how it started with the government back in the 50s and 60s. But really starting with the 80s is when we saw a lot of more open source software kind of come and kind of like that the culture around tech, right? And building upon other people. Next slide, please. So like really quick again, I kind of already touched on these, but just as important as it is to to explore on-chain apps, is also just as important that we empower people to build their own, right? So it's DeFi, science, right? So like, if you're into a little more about the natural sciences, you could do multiple ways of like integrating blockchain crypto into that, whether it's for fundraising or for certain experiments, right? Well, for all the builders out there, there's so many opportunities with AI agents. So now AI personalities that can do on-chain actions like create their own NFT, create their own music, like there's some crazy ones like that's come out in just the past month. And there's so many like consumer applications that still can be made, right? So I firmly believe you look at your app store or like you look at the apps on your phone, there's more likely an opportunity for you to like build some form of version of that on chain as well. And join the community, right? With dapphub rebranding and coming back out complete next year, we're gonna stress the need for community chatter, right? So that means whether people are building certain topics or they like to use certain products, right? Like how can we have kind of like a kind of like a Reddit-esque type of like community chatter, right? Within like adapt like Scholark, right? So where people are chatting about Scholark and things that's happening on there, or like people are building on base, right? So like what are people talking about on there, right? So we want dapphub to just not be a browser like a Google Chrome, but like a decentralized Google Chrome, right? Where like we don't have to build the products like the photos, the GCP, um, the actual search engine, right? Like we want to have things that are built apart dapphub to actually be like democratized, right? And built by you all. And then we just kind of have like the interface for everybody to go explore all these type of protocols and all these type of applications. But yeah, and this is a direct quote to from the latest article that was published about us, where I'm focusing more on or really what's everybody inside the company is we want to focus more on how we can benefit or turn our consumers into architects and creators and investors, not just consumers, right? Or like investors can also be architects, right? Or creators can also be, right, like the architects as well. So making sure like that people aren't, just, like just one-sided. But I do see a question. I can go and answer that. I get the concept while it's in that browser. How scalable is it? Most of the time using while it's Phantom, Rabbit, it sucks. Yeah, so um there isn't an innate problem with like kind of like you see with like mobile wallets where like there's a thing now for like a lot of like the mobile apps, like they have their own like, kind of like their own like browser inside of the wallet. Um, but that's still technically a wallet interface, right? Like when people open up the wallets, they're looking at their money. When you open up most of your applications in traditional tech, it's not really money based, right? Like you're using something on your phone for a specific like utility rather than just, kind of, like seeing your money, right? So it's like open up your phone and you always see your bank account. That's fine, but you don't really need it, and not everybody in the world even had the bank account. Right? So for DAppHub, like we want to make sure that we have a user interface for applications first, right? So your DAppHub becomes your new home screen, right? So it's like you're not, like we have a wallet page which I'll demo kind of in like a few minutes, but we want to focus more on a browser UI and have the wallet stuff kind of like to the side. And I see the second part was is this issues with the specific tab or the wallet. What is going? Um, launcher. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, L2s technically are a part of the same uh, rails in a way. So like base is a L2 Ethereum. So if you have a wallet on Ethereum, you have a wallet on Polygon, you have a wallet on base, you have a wallet on OP net, you have one on technically all of them. So it might look like a different wallet because it's like it's a new wallet interface, but it's still the same wallet basically. If that makes sense. I hope that answered both parts of that question. But we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in DAppHub, you guys can go to dapphub.xyz. You guys can go and download it now. And it's again 3 steps, right? You make your account with just your email, go to the App Store and start building, or you start transacting with ease. Our builder module will be coming out completely in 2025. Um, but I just want you guys to understand that we're right now, I'm still like in my early 20s. So really we're like in the internet like right before I was born, like late 90s ish. We're like a lot of tools that we use today have not been created. Like we're like I don't think Gmail wasn't even created. I believe inside like the 90s, right? Facebook hasn't been created. Like there are companies that have already been established, and that's fine, right? The Binance, Coinbase, right? Uniswaps, that's fine. And just like in the 90s, there's already, by this time, Chrome was basically a couple years old. Well, Google as the company was already like a couple of years old. Microsoft and Apple was already, pretty big, but there's so many opportunities, right? So the larger tools that we use today, right? And the big like unicorn startups that today, they haven't been created yet. And this is the time right now to build those applications. So again, whether you like making art, music, you're a creator, you're a builder, or you're a dreamer, DAppHub is going to be the tool for you to write your chapter in the story of the Web3. So I believe I have one last slide, or maybe not. I think this might be the okay. No, I can share my screen, guys, if you guys have any other questions. Okay, I see. Okay, so but how does it say powerful from scams? I mentioned that website to use it to see. Yeah, so I can actually share my screen, I believe, now that I'm a co-host. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. All right. You guys should be able to see this, hopefully. Can you guys see this? I actually see the chat. Let me see. Can you guys give a thumbs up inside the chat if you guys can see my screen? I know Zoom sometimes kind of can be a little tricky. But I can. Okay, that should work. So when you guys download dapphub, again, it's a desktop browser. Right now, we're out on Mac and Windows, so will be coming pretty soon. But you come and it's very simple, right? It's just like any other email, right? So what we can put in our test account for our dapphub users, and just create a simple where actually you get a sign up here. Just make a simple one that that the company uses. And basically what happens is with dapphub, we keep everything secured locally on the devices, right? So um when you guys are developing your own applications, it should be known that you should never be taking the user's private keys, or if you're creating their own wallet, it never be over the internet. It always be locally on the person's desktop. You never leave your website, should never leave anywhere. It should stay on the website and on a person's computer. And so dapphub is basically the same, right? So since we're a desktop application, your seed phrases, all your secrets is hosted locally on your device, right? So it's only secure with you. dapphub, we don't hold any keys, we don't hold anything. It's all up to you. Basically like they just make a pen, so I can just call it, 12345. Oh, actually, actually had to be a little more creative there. But yeah, so again, dapphub is like a new home screen. So now you kind of go to the App Store, and now we have the applications that we partner with, right? So we partner with Skylark before, Project Pi. Rentable is our latest one, or data, which is really, really cool. Or data is it's basically it's like data sharding, right? So I can actually get onto them. Uh, is You can see kind of or data, has AI intelligence built with like storage. So like you can store your files on chain and have it data sharded to where it's encrypted, but also now you own all your files. So you don't have to use the Google Photos anymore. Now you can just use Or basically to have her stuff. And again, they're on dapphub to where that we've integrated with them now. Let's go back. Let's go to some marketplaces. One of my favorites is like Magic Eden, where like they have Bitcoin, they have Solana, they have some types of blockchains out there like that can be processed. And again, it's very simple to use, right? We just added 2 dApps in like less than a minute, right? So like this is the type of interface that more people like kind of like need to be like more familiar with. And pretty simple, right? You just you just put in your PIN, and basically like this PIN is you unlocking again your keys. Let me see, put it in wrong. There it is. And I don't know if you guys just noticed this, but now this is actually the wallet auto connecting, right? So most people, when they go to like new websites, they kind of go to sign in with their email. But with dapphub, since you're already signed in with your you sign in under your account, the wallet automatically connects to these websites. And usually that's kind of seen as kind of like, that can be seen as kind of sort of risky there. However, that's why that we have all the URLs checked, verified. We check out our smart contracts and everything's there. So prior to even launching a new website, prior to even using the search engine, it's already checked and it's already ready to go. The built-in wallet also will auto detect whether if this smart contract or the wallet that you want to send to has been associated with scams. And we do that through kind of like a blacklisting method there as well. So that's pretty much it. Like for our demo, that's how you kind of get on chain in a matter of literally less than 5 minutes. But that's all we have for our demo. I'll love to answer any other questions that you guys have.
All right. So I think that sums it up on Travis's end. Travis, again, amazing platform. I personally resonate with the part where it's more of getting to empower folks to take an initiative, and that's how you get the adaptation process ongoing. You plant seeds and you watch them grow, in essence. Um, and everyone's welcome to ask any questions. This session is going to be recorded, and it is recorded. The recording is going to be made available on YouTube. We also have post-session discussions. Joe was pretty responsive in WhatsApp and on Discord. Please feel free and join our WhatsApp and Discord. And folks, again, the adaptation only happens if you're active and you're actively engaging. One of the most fundamental parts that we often stress on is active engagement. That's one of the most fundamentals in the Web3 space. Unless everyone talks, unless they continue to interact, you're not going to learn new things. And right now, the atmosphere is so fast-paced that if you don't even catch on for one day, you're going to find 10 new things the other day. So keep up to date. Um, I'd say bug your mentors as much as possible. This sort of knowledge, people, people, pay for the stuff. In essence, is what I'm saying. So take the opportunity, learn, ask questions. I think we might even have one question. Do we?
Yeah, he was asking if
Yeah.
Daphub has a token like Brave. So we do plan to have a token, right? So that goes into like our tokenomics. I was pretty much going to work is think about Brave and as a browser, but again, you don't really build with Brave, and Brave search engine is also kind of cheap. I'm just gonna be honest there. Mm. And then we have the same tools that we have coming, right? Daphlub is only on Mac currently right now, and that's only because of the security risk, right? So Windows is very open source, and we haven't actually found the right protocol to use with Windows like that if we use with Mac yet. But it is coming in Q1 of 2025. But back to the token, we do plan on having it, and it'll be used for people to earn while they're using the browser, but also earn by when you're building, right? So when you're building applications that people love, people can vote using their tokens and can actually, you as a builder can earn tokens by actually building great applications as well. So it'll be the multifaceted.
So, if we have any other questions, now would be the time. If not, please feel free and scan these QR codes or so that you can join our groups. And most of you would be curious, Ahmed is not available in this session, but he will be continuing from the next to teach us more on Web3 and to add more. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. We'll just wait for a couple of seconds. If we don't have any more questions, we'll wrap it up. Okay, so our next seminar is going to be on the 14th of December. We're going to be exploring the future of on-chain, 12 p.m. PST. Stay tuned. We're going to be sending in an update message in our WhatsApp and on our Discord whenever the session starts. And yeah, I think that sums it up. Joe, thank you so